On the night Olympus went dark, Zeus heard the thunder cry out against him. It wasn't an ordinary storm. It was a wounded, deep sound, as if the sky itself were being torn open by invisible claws. The stars vanished one by one, swallowed by an ancient shadow that slowly rose from Tartarus. In the golden hall, the gods stopped talking. Poseidon gripped his trident tightly. Athena looked up. Hera felt the air grow heavy as a tomb. Then the gates of Olympus burst open. A creature walked in, moving through black smoke and shattered marble. His name was Moros, the Devourer of Fates. He didn't look like an ordinary monster. His armor was made of dead prophecies, and on his chest, faded faces tried to scream without a voice. Ares attacked first, as always. His sword sliced through the air in flames, but Moros knocked him down with a single blow, hurling the god of war against the columns. Zeus rose slowly. His throne cracked behind him, as if even the stone knew that night would demand divine blood. Moros pointed at the king of the gods and said, "I have come to devour tomorrow." Zeus clenched his fists, summoned a black lightning bolt to his hand, and replied, "Then today you'll die choking on the sky." Zeus ruled Olympus with stormy eyes and a voice that could bend kings, monsters, and armies. For ages, his name was a shield for the gods and terror for his enemies. But every ancient power hides its cracks, and within those cracks, something hungry waited. Moros didn't just want to take the throne. He wanted to destroy the future before it was born. For 7 nights, dark omens appeared in the world of mortals. Statues wept dark water. Crows died on rooftops. Children woke up speaking forgotten names. In the temples, priests were afraid to pray. In the mountains, shepherds saw clouds moving against the wind. On Olympus, the gods argued, accused each other, and tried to pretend they were brave. Zeus, however, remained silent. He knew the sound of a war approaching. Before we go on, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and tell me in the comments which city and state you're watching from. I want to know where this storm is being heard, because this won't be a story of clean glory. This will be a story of golden blood, broken bones, hungry shadows, and a god who had to fight like a beast to save tomorrow. Moros crossed the hall like a living knight. With every step, he dimmed the shine of the marble. With every breath, the torches burned lower. Zeus raised his hand and hurled the first lightning bolt. The flash struck Moros in the chest with a force strong enough to split mountains. The impact tore a black hole in his armor. For a moment, the gods thought the battle would end right there. But Moros pressed his fingers into his own wound and pulled the lightning bolt out of his body, crushing it like fragile glass. The thunder died in his hand. Athena tried to charge forward with her spear, but her eyes lost their focus. She saw 1,000 paths, and every one of them ended in defeat. Hera screamed for Zeus, but chains of shadow climbed up the walls and bound her arms. The king of the gods attacked again. This time, he didn't keep his distance. He charged forward with his fists crackling with blue electricity. Zeus struck Moros in the face, then the chest, then the throat. Each blow made Olympus tremble. Columns cracked, statues toppled, and clouds burst open outside. Moros staggered but smiled. With a blade made of darkness, he slashed Zeus from the shoulder down to his chest. Golden blood dripped to the floor and turned into tiny storms. Zeus felt pain, but he didn't back down. He grabbed Moros by the neck and hurled him through the golden doors. The enemy flew across the celestial courtyard and smashed through 3 pillars as he landed. Zeus followed after him, his cloak torn and his eyes blazing. Outside, beneath black clouds, Olympus was no longer a palace. It had become a battlefield. Moros spread his arms, and black fissures tore open the ground of Olympus. From within him, faceless soldiers emerged, made a hardened shadow, carrying spears that dripped silence. Poseidon struck the ground with his trident, summoning celestial waves that crushed dozens of them. Artemis fired silver arrows. Demeter made golden roots bind dark legs and arms. Even so, the shadows kept rising. Zeus realized this wasn't just a duel. It was an invasion. He flew at Moros like a living bolt of lightning. The two collided in the center of the courtyard. The impact sent fire across the horizon and toppled sacred towers. Zeus struck first. One punch, then another, then another. Moros answered with black claws to the god's chest, tearing out not just blood, but memories. Zeus saw images vanish inside his own mind. The first storm he created, the voices of ancient children, the taste of victory over Kronos. Furious, he summoned all the lightning around him. The sky answered with hundreds of flashes. Lightning struck Moros, burning his armor, tearing his shadow, forcing the monster to retreat. But then Moros opened his mouth and blew out Oblivion. Zeus felt the world fade away. For a second, he couldn't even remember his own name. Moros drove a black spear into his abdomen and pushed him to the edge of Olympus. Hera screamed. Ares tried to get up. Athena reached out her hand, but Zeus fell. The king of the gods plummeted through the clouds, leaving golden blood in the air. He hit the Aegean Sea like a fallen star, sending giant waves crashing against the shores. At the dark bottom, he lay motionless. Then a memory held on. Kronos, chains, war, victory. Zeus opened his eyes in the abyss of the sea, and the entire ocean trembled. Zeus rose from the waters without a scream. His body was bleeding, but his eyes held a fury older than Olympus itself. He walked to a forgotten island, where a crack in the earth led to Tartarus. The descent was narrow, cold, and filled with the voices of broken oaths. Creatures hidden in the shadows recognized his footsteps and drew back. At the bottom of the abyss, Zeus found the Hecaton Shires, 100-armed giants chained by ancient iron. Briareus, the greatest of them, raised his many heads and spoke with a voice like crumbling stone. The king of the sky descends wounded, so the sky is dying. Zeus replied, Moros has returned. My lightning wounds him but does not destroy him. I need a weapon he fears. The giants opened an altar buried beneath black ashes. Upon it rested the Abyssal bolt. It did not shine. It swallowed light. It was a dark, twisted lightning bolt, pulsing like the heart of a dead storm. Briareus warned, this weapon demands a price. It takes away what keeps the warrior standing. Zeus understood, his pride. When he touched the bolt, he saw truths he hated. Mortals fearing his name, children suffering from his wrath, enemies crushed by his vanity. The weapon's blow was crueler than any blade. Even so, Zeus tightened his grit. If my pride must die so the world may live, then let it die today. Tartarus trembled. On Olympus, Moros climbed onto the broken throne, ready to erase the future. Then the sky went completely dark. Zeus returned like a doomed storm. He crashed into the celestial courtyard and crushed the shadow soldiers as he hit the ground. Moros turned, and for the first time, his smile vanished. The final battle began without a word. Moros hurled blades forged from stolen fates. Zeus shattered him with his bare arm. Zeus drove the abyssal lightning into his enemy's chest, but Moros grabbed his throat and tried to erase his name from the universe. For a moment, the sky forgot who its king was. Then Hera, bleeding, shouted, Zeus! The name returned like thunder. Zeus opened his eyes and summoned every bolt of lightning ever cast since creation. All of Olympus turned into a maw of dark light. With a roar that made Tartarus shrink back, Zeus smashed Moros against the broken throne. The Devourer of Fates tried to scream, but the abyssal lightning entered through his mouth, his eyes, and his wounds. When silence fell, only black ash remained on the shattered stone. After the battle, no one celebrated. Olympus still stood, but it looked like a corpse refusing the grave. Broken columns, halls open to the wind, wounded gods, and silence scattered like dust over everything. Zeus remained before the cracked throne, his chest laid open and the abyssal lightning extinguished at his feet. Hera approached slowly. She didn't say any sweet words. She just touched his face. And in that gesture, there was more truth than in all the hymns ever sung in his name. Down below, mortals came out of their homes, looking up at the sky in fear. They would never know how close they came to losing their names, their children, their memories, and their mornings. Zeus watched those tiny human lights trembling in the darkness, and for the first time in a long while, he didn't feel like the master of the world. He felt like the guardian of something fragile, something no throne should ever crush. That night, Zeus didn't order the throne to be rebuilt. He sat on the broken stone and let the storm wash away his golden blood. Olympus had survived, but it would never be innocent again, and when the first thunder echoed again, it didn't sound like a threat. It sounded like a warning. As long as Zeus drew breath, even fate itself would have to fight to touch tomorrow.